Hey guys, well, it's been just about 24 hours since I primed up the floor on this old Cadillac. 24, give or take. Anyway, so this is what it looks like now, and it looks like there's a couple spots that are a little light, but I'm not going to panic over it. I'm going to put Duraglas in those holes. That's my next plan. There's a couple over there, a couple over there, a couple right there. I'm going to Duraglas that patch in over there. And there's a couple little holes over here. It's Swiss cheese, but we'll see what Duraglas can do for us. I keep calling it Duraglas, but it's really Duraglas. So I get my glasses mixed up. All right, here's a big hole over here. Let's see what we can do. Oh, baby. Oh, I think it's a lot to ask, but we're going to ask anyway. It's spanning them holes pretty good. Might take more than one coat. Yeah, definitely gotta take more than one coat. I already used up one batch. That didn't take very long, did it? I'm pretty stingy. I try to get every last drop of this stuff, since it's like 70 bucks for a bucket of it. So that's gonna be sticking down through the floor too, and eventually I'll be down under there doing that stuff, and I'll grind it off smooth and doll it up and make it look pretty. And then probably undercoat the thing under it. I want this thing to last a while. Alright, so I'm going to go mix up another batch and do that hole. Beautiful. Hardened up nice. Another coat on it. Smoothed out. Let's face it, I gotta smooth it out real good. Doesn't matter that much, because it's gonna get covered up by carpet, pad, and carpet. Pretty much just took these ribs out. Kind of dropping through. Guess I gotta just leave that the way it is. Wow, I made a bigger batch that time, but it didn't seem to last a whole lot longer than the last batch. Here we go. Looking good. It's sinking out right there. Well, time to go make another batch. I'm going to use up half a bucket of that stuff in here. But I guess that's okay. Get the job done. One thing about this stuff is all of a sudden it'll be unworkable. That's already starting to harden up too. So I got to get a bit busy. This is probably not going to be quite as neat. I'm a little nervous about it setting up on me. But this stuff's strong once it gets set. Gotta be careful. I got the light shining on this, so liable to cure it. And then I'd be stuck. I'm running out of this stuff. I really used up a whole bunch of it. This stuff's really strong. It sticks to itself too. Now I got to do inventory on where my holes are, so I know where to patch them. There's a big one, so I'm going to pack that with that little bit I got left, and then mix up another batch and plug that right up tight. I really don't need much more. I got a little hole there, a little hole over there, and then I think I'm good. And I'm just going to spray Rust-Oleum right over it. Yep. Now I just got to go mix up another little teeny batch, and we're good with this. So what do I got here? I'd like to do something with this cowl. I'm finding some more holes in there. I don't know if you can see that or not. There's a hole, holes, little holes. Now what do I do down in here? I mean, it's like ridiculous to get to. So I think what I'm going to do, I found a more liquidy kind of rust extender inhibitor stuff. You see over there, it's all like holes in there and everything. Let me see if you can see. It's all like just rusty up and under. And there's not a whole lot I can do with that. I mean, I use a screwdriver and I've scratched off a bunch of it as I can, knocking off the loose scale, whatever scale's there. I'm gonna take a little bit of 40 grit I got and I'm gonna sand this up a little bit. And then I'm gonna hit it with this stuff. I don't know if this stuff's any good. Basically, it's the same kind of stuff as this, only I think it's less foamy. I think it's more liquidy. So I might be able to, like, if I can, swish it around easier down in that crevice. Probably what I'm gonna do is take like a mix stick or paint stick and tape a brush to it so I can get it in there as best I can. So I'm gonna try to do that now. We'll see what happens. Okay, the instructions say shake well. Got my little headlight on. Maybe I could see what I'm doing. I don't know. So I'm gonna try to just dribble some in there and then swish it around with a foam brush. Yeah, this is definitely a little bit different consistency. It's a lot thinner than the Permatex rust treatment. It's quite similar though, really. Well, that's not too bad. In that area anyway, I'm getting smushed around. And there's a hole there too. I'm thinking I'm gonna put this stuff on, do the 2 coats, and then spray it down with Rust-Oleum. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know if that's a great plan or not, to be honest, but that's what I'm gonna try. See if I can get it down here. Ooh, it just runs right down. So that probably is not all that great. Says if you do 3 coats of this stuff, if you put 2 coats on, first coat, and then about 20 minutes do the second coat before it dries, or just as it dries. And then if you do a 3rd coat, it says you don't need to top coat it. Well, I'm actually getting in there pretty good. I'm surprised at how good. I'm going to dump a little more here just so I have it. I don't know what else to do with this rust down here in this cavity. I'm trying to stabilize this car. Okay, so I'm going to hit this stuff too. There's a whole bunch of rusty stuff here that needs hitting. I think I pretty much got this good enough up in here. About as good as I'm going to get it anyway. Probably not the exact preferred method, the dump and spread method, but what are you going to do, you know? Then we'll hit it up with the Rust-Oleum. Yeah, this is almost exactly like the Permatex stuff I used the other day. This is, what is this stuff? This is the Loctite Extend Rust Neutralizer. And let's face it, this thing needs some neutralizing. But then you're supposed to paint it with an oil-based paint. I think because if you don't get this stuff rinsed off, no matter what you do, it's going to have a acid film that doesn't behave well with paint. You know, like if you try to put epoxy over top, you might lose adhesion due to the acidity of it all. But that's far too far into actual chemistry for me to know. I just want something to work. Let the geniuses figure out the chemistry. They've been doing good so far. Alright, I'm going to come over to that side and just do the same thing. So while that Extend Rust treatment is working on the front cowl, I'm going to get back here on the C-pillar, start working on this. I got to patch this hole. I got a piece just about made, and I think what I'm going to wind up doing is just tucking it up underneath and just lap welding it and getting it in. But first, I'm going to hit it with some of this Rust-Oleum Rust Reformer up and under here, just to seal that up and hopefully make it last a little longer. Got to shake this up good, you know. Okay, here we go. Now the main thing about this is, once I seal up this C-pillar, I don't think we're going to have too much of a problem there. But while I'm here, Couple little sprays of paint ain't gonna hurt nothing. Well, it's not paint, it's this rusty whatever it is. Okay, I'll hit that too. Hit that. I don't know if it really reforms it or it encapsulates it. To be honest, I don't know what it does. But I hope it does it. Up in there a little bit. See, it doesn't look rusty up in there because it never got wet. Just where it gets wet, you know, that's the problem spot. Good enough. Welding sheet metal is so much fun. So I tacked it here. It's really thin, so it kind of burned a little bit. And then I tacked it through here. By the time I got to this one, it started tugging this down. That's what happens. You weld it and then it contracts. So this whole gap, I should have figured it for that and had this piece set up like that so it would contract down into place, but I didn't. So now I got to fight with it. But I think I got it now to where I can position it. And what I do, I'm going to weld this. See what it's doing? It's popping back and forth. But if I hold it just right, I'll have it right there and I'll catch that. And then I'll tack weld that. And once that's tack welded, I can go through and start welding stuff up. Then I got to do something with this. I'm not sure what. I got a big gap. I think though once I get this starting to weld up, I'll be able to tug on this up to where I can get it up to there and get it to fill in. But not sure yet. That's quite a ways away. But this is a pretty complicated piece. I mean, it's got a body line in it and it's got a roll in it that swoops this way. So yeah, it's tough and I'm struggling, but we're gonna just sally forth. I'm a little low. Okay, so I got that caught there. I think if I lever on this, I can get this tugged up into place. Ooh yeah, that's gonna work. Hopefully my welds on my little thing don't break off. Well, if they do, I'll just weld it back on. Got her tacked in there, not too bad, not perfect. I do have a lap here, which a lot of guys would hate that, but what am I gonna do? It is what it is. What's gonna happen is that'll get filled with Duraglas. Once I'm gonna grind it off nice and smooth and clean, treat it up. And one thing I am happy about, I pretty much got my body line. It's not quite as crisp. I wish it was a little crisper, but we'll see what we can do with it. We'll crisp it up. It kind of does fade out at the end, so I think it'll look all right. And this, now I'm gonna cut this out. I'm gonna probably cut it like that over to here and try to square it up and cut that Swiss cheese out of there. I might actually cut it all the way up to here. I do have that hole to fix too, so maybe I can incorporate the whole thing. I don't know. I'm gonna tinker with it, see what happens. Well, I got a little bit of a mess on my hands. It's a little bit, got some more rot in here I'm gonna have to deal with, but I'm gonna wire this off, clean it. Main thing is I gotta get to see what it looks like. When I run that wire wheel, it's throwing wires at my arm and stuff, so I'm gonna throw my, actually this is Connor's welding coat, which is pretty heavy duty leather. Keeps the sparks from burning on you. That, I got the goggles on too, because I don't want to wire my eyeball. To me that'd be a horrific nightmare. So I'm going to get wiring, wheeling on this thing a little bit, and see if I can't get it cleaned up. See if I can get it cleaned up. I don't know, what's proper English? I don't know. Let's see what happens. Oh, a big gob of putty just fell out of there. Evidently, I'm not the first guy to do this. Oh, I got this rod hole, and then I got all this going up through here. I'm not sure what to do. If I cut this whole piece out, just put an L shape in there or something like that, but then I lose my little, the little studs for my chrome clips. But I can always just like glue the chrome back in instead of using the pins, but I kind of like to use the pins if I could. So I got to dig the rest of that out. I'll probably have to do a little sandblasting. Well, I'm going to cut this out next, I think. Maybe weld that piece in. Then I'll just start. Yeah, I'm going to have to make a patch for that. There's just no way around it. And then I'll drill a couple holes in so I can spot weld it. Do something like that and get that fixed. Gotta do something here. I'd like to stay away from rebuilding any of these creases and stuff. You know, if I can avoid that, that'd be good. Probably what I'll do is just cut out the really rusted stuff and put little L bends in. And up here, same thing. Maybe cut this out like that, just put an L bend there. This I don't have to worry about saving this because that's all going to get puttied over smooth. So there's no body line or anything to worry about there. This radius looks like that's still good. Just that little straight spot there is what I'll have to patch. I'll square that up, patch that up. Probably square it right up to here. You know, bend a piece and put it in there. A lot of little pieces, a lot of little fitting and pieces. We can do it. We'll get her done. You guys been hearing the chickens in the background. Yep, there he goes. Right on cue. Let me show you. There he is. There's the rooster. Oh yeah. He's pretty excited about having all them hens all to himself. Connor finally got an egg the other day. Enough for one very, very small omelet. So I was using this diamond wheel. Cut the steel, but it's kind of wide. So I'm going to this blade. It's not diamond, it's just, you know, an abrasive cutoff wheel. It's a little narrower. Plus, this diamond wheel, I don't know if it's from cutting that wrench or from what, but it seemed to have a little bounce to it. It's like there must be a little bit out of round to it. And it would be very slight because it really flies. Oh, I already see a part of the segment coming off here too, so that could be part of the problem right there. I don't know, we'll probably keep using it a little bit here and there, but I think I'm going to go back to these abrasive wheels for now. So let's cut this thing out. All this Swiss cheese shouldn't be too hard to cut. Little piece of Swiss cheese I got here. I'm going to use it for a pattern. Trace it out, I can cut it on a shear, and then I think I can fit it right in there nice. Yeah, it'll be okay for a rank amateur. Once I grind this all off clean, if there's any big gaps still, I'll patch them. Otherwise, I'm just going to putty this thing shut with Duraglas, and that'll be the end of that hole. Not bad. I think I'm okay with it. Now it's time to move on to the smaller holes. Yeah. Man, you always got to be careful. Look at that. Melted my vacuum cleaner hose. Dang it. Just another episode of stupidity because I had this laying around too much. I hate halogen lights. They get too hot and then they quit working anyway. So I guess that's going in the trash. So this is definitely apparently the worst corner of the car. So I took off this second layer because the way they put it together, this piece laps and then goes over that, and then they pinch weld it. Well, I took that all off because it's all rusty underneath between the pinch weld. So there's no way to get that cleaned up good. The rest of them look like they're okay. I'm not having that issue anywhere else. That bottom corner maybe when I get over there. But this spot I did have that problem. So what I'm going to wind up doing, you can see how this will flop around now. I'm going to wind up making an L bend, drilling holes in it so I can put rosette welds, and I'm going to re-weld it. And then after that, it should be pretty good. I gotta put a little patch here. I gotta put a little patch down here. So that looks to me like braze. When's the last time a body man used braze? I bet this car was redone in 1978, 79, maybe 80? I don't know. Anybody's guess. Anyway, guys, I guess I've had about enough for today. I'm tired out, so I'm gonna go home. You guys, I hope you liked the video. Really appreciate you watching. So, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And we'll see you on the next one.